What's up, everybody? Welcome to the POVincent podcast live stream here on the Rivers Edge Online Radio Network. I'm your host, Vincent Didiano, and it's time to talk about some things. First of all, for those of you who are watching on the live stream, or maybe you're watching this later on YouTube, you'll notice a new face.
Hello.
And to everybody watching or listening, I want to introduce my new co-host and somebody who's become a good friend, Jess. Everyone, give it up for Jess.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. All right. So it's been a while since I've done anything. Well, I think the last thing I did was when my buddy Mike was on and we discussed the second half of Star Trek Picard. But that was a while ago. And since then, I've been trying to, come together to do some new stuff. Jess is involved.
Hello.
And we're going to go over all this.
Yes.
So for those of you who are new to the show, whether you're new to the show because you're here to check out Jess and hear what she has to say,
Hello.
or you've just never seen the show before, let's just go over the basics because there's a lot of new things going on and might as well do a little introduction. My name's Vincent Didiano. I'm a stand-up comedian, and ever since I was a kid, I have been a movie lover. I love movies. Particularly, I'm into sci-fi, fantasy, action kind of stuff. But as I've gotten older, I've come more to appreciate, dramas, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Love Shawshank Redemption.
Okay.
Movie that I like to bring up every once in a while since it came out a few years ago. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I fucking love that movie.
Such a good film.
All the main characters are total assholes, and I love them.
Story, very much a great film.
Yeah. No, everyone gave fantastic performances in that film.
Absolutely. Sam Rockwell, I feel, gives the performance of his career.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my movie interests in terms of genre are pretty broad. The only one I would say that I don't have a particular interest in or is horror. And for those of you who've watched before, or those of you who know me, who've been on the show, whatever, once again, just going to reiterate, I don't hate horror. It's just not my thing,
That's okay.
Yeah. Some people some people like liquor, some people like beer, so.
I was going to say it is very much my thing. So I feel like there will be a very well-rounded opinion at the end of the day about that topic.
Yeah.
Horror is not a genre for everyone. There are not a lot of people who want to subject themselves to that. So I'm here to subject myself to that.
Thank God. We have our subject. I was going to say first subject, but that sounds kind of weird. And after that, just to let you know, so if you've noticed the title or read the description, this is also a way to introduce our new format. Before, the format was I would review whatever big movie came out that week, maybe go over some news stories the week before that. But with things changing, and there aren't a new movie of the week anymore, you got some maybe indie films that were coming out, some stuff coming out on streaming like Artemis Fowl.
Has definitely changed how we view movies at the time being. So we wanted to find a way to address films in a COVID society, I guess. Yeah.
So the way we're going to do it as the new format is, and I will reiterate in the first episode when we get there, but it's going to be movie franchises. Yes. So so we're going to pick a movie franchise, and then each episode we will discuss an installment in that franchise, and we will go in order unless we get eventually when we get to some of the Godzilla movies where we might skip a few here and there.
You have to do those in installments rather than films.
Well, the original franchise that ran from the mid-50s to the mid-70s, there was 15 films in that, so we're probably just going to slim it down to like the more notable ones or the more important ones.
Brackets.
Yeah. We're not going to. Yeah. It's going to be in franchises, and as we go through each movie, not only will we review the film itself, but we're also going to discuss how the film has changed, whether that is because of the times, directors, writers. And, of course, along the way, we're going to try to have some laughs because, well, there's always something fun to make fun of in movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Even in the best of movies, even some of their favorite movies. But
so there's always something to laugh about.
Oh, totally. If you can't laugh at your favorite movie, then do you really love it that much?
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe.
There's humor.
I don't know.
Maybe that's just a comedian me. I wanted to find a joke where I can.
No, I feel that. Everything should be funny or the world gets you. That's my philosophy.
All right. Well, I think I said everything I need to say, just a brief, short description of myself and the show. Now, Jess, time for you to introduce yourself to everybody. I know we got a lot of your friends out there who are tuning in. So to all of Jess's friends who are tuning in,
hello.
Thank you very much
for joining us. Absolutely.
But now it's time for Jess to tell us about herself. Tell us about your film love. Go for it.
Oh yeah. So my name is Jess. Hi guys. I don't know. My love of film is definitely very deep rooted. I am very lucky enough to have grown up with a nana. For those of you who are Italian, we have nanas. And we watched a lot of classic films together. I grew up with the golden era of Warner Brothers classics. Humphrey Bogart is definitely my favorite actor, hands down. And I'm a huge critic of films. I have taken at least 2 film courses, just as, a course to take for shits and giggles. Those of us who have gone to college know that you have to fill a certain bracket of classes, and you can have some fun with that. So I took some film classes and got to really explore the world of film history. I'm a huge fan of classic film in general, very much a fan of art and indie films, but a fan of film in general. I anything that's popular, I'm very much into checking it out. Some of my favorite films right now are Frank. I've always been a fan of Fight Club. I've always been a huge fan of Casablanca. There are a lot of critics who say that Citizen Kane is the best film of all time. I can very much argue why or why not for that film.
Well, if I may real quick, I actually saw Citizen Kane for the first time a little over a year ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. And let's talk about that real fast.
Oh, yeah, that's good. For the time period it came out in, very impressive, very impressive.
Yeah.
By today's standards, is definitely dated. I will fully admit that. But you can see by watching that film the certain techniques, styles, themes, and little things that were so this movie that came out 30 years later, that's where this came from. Okay.
It's very much a film that overlaps a lot of subjects with film and cinematography. And there's a reason why it's still, to this day, that film is very old. It's 2020.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why, to this day, that film is credited as one of the best films.
Usually in the top 10, yeah.
Yeah, very much usually in the top 10. And I'm very much a cineophile. I watch a lot of movies on my own. I'm very open to people telling me that they like a movie and I should watch it. I will admit there are some films that I haven't seen in recent times. I'm very open to learning about a lot of superhero movies. This is I know Vince is
I'm a big superhero guy.
Very much into the superhero films. I am a huge comic fan. And for some reason, I just haven't brought my love of the comic stories to a cinematic viewpoint. So I'm very eager to reach those films and get to watch a lot of them. I'll admit I'm a DC fan more than a Marvel fan.
In the comics or the movies?
Comics.
Okay.
And up to a certain point, the movies. I will say that after the Nolanverse, note. After the Nolanverse, I will acknowledge that Marvel has made a lot of better films.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Marvel anti-hero films. I'm very much here for the Deadpool and Venom films. I haven't watched a lot of the Avengers.
I have.
I know, and I'm very open to watching them, and I'm ready. I'm ready to watch them. Yeah. I have just been so much of a DC fan that I have been watching a lot of the comic films for DC. The Killing Joke and
the animated films.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, DC does pretty well with their animated.
Yes, yeah, and that's the thing. DC does very well with their animated films. Not so much with their live action.
For those of you who...
We will get there.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will discuss this.
Yeah. I've discussed them before on the show more than a few times. More times than multiple times that I wanted to, and sometimes I didn't want to because
absolutely.
Zack Snyder has stayed in the news. I have said what I think about Zack Snyder on top of just a bit, we'll probably go over because eventually we're going to get to the
opinion. And
we are going to get to the DCEU at some point, and I will reiterate my feelings on Zack Snyder, his directing, as well as how Warner Brothers handled things because I'll just say it right now, I have my issues with Zack Snyder as a director, but I fully acknowledge that Warner Brothers did some stuff that were just bad decisions just. And I don't know if I want to say immoral decisions, but they did some bad shit.
I will say up until Warner Brothers bought into the whole hero cinematography, I am a huge Warner Brothers fan. Outside of this subject, they have not handled a lot of superhero films well.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, but which is a shame because I grew up on the DC guys first. Christopher Reeve as Superman. That was my first introduction into the whole superhero thing. Michael Keaton as Batman, and then eventually all the other Batmans will.
I feel like my mom very much introduced me to Batman. So Batman Beyond was a huge.
Oh yeah.
Series for me as a child, and I've always been a huge Batman fan. So
there's been there's been a lot of rumors, especially when it was announced that Michael Keaton will return as Batman in the Flashpoint movie. That this is a lead-in for Batman Beyond.
I would love Michael Keaton as Batman and Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
I am so here for that. Yeah. But we gotta wait and see.
We gotta wait and see.
Yeah. We have to wait and see.
Yeah, because Kevin Smith.
You have to stick with us to wait and see.
You have to see. Yeah. Because even though that our new, our primary format will be the franchises. Yeah. If there's a new movie that comes out that we're interested in, we will discuss it. We will review it. It'll be an extra episode. I'll reiterate all this in the first episode for anybody who may have missed this, but so primary focus, I should say, are the franchises. Secondary are going to be new releases. So if there's something big coming out, we're going to cover it because there was a lot of movies that were supposed to come out this year that didn't. I wanted to see the new James Bond. I wanted to see the new Mulan. Absolutely. I wanted to see Black Widow. I wanted to.
I'm sure we're going to take our time in finding the platforms in which these films were released, and if you want us to discuss them, we're going to discuss them. But as far as franchises go, we're opening with Tremors, and I'm very excited to open with that. It's a franchise that I have watched the first film several times. I'm very familiar with Tremors.
Watched it probably a few dozen times.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it's the first it's the only major release of the franchise. But after that, they have released many more films to the fact where we very recently discovered they're going to release Part 7.
Part 7, yeah.
Last week we found out that Tremors 7 is coming out in October. So that's the first franchise we're going to cover. Yeah,
and just to be transparent, I guess we've already recorded the first couple episodes, and they're just about ready to go. The first one, I'm keeping that. I'm not a master editor, so I'm keeping the editing process relatively simple. I was going to try to do something a little more complicated for YouTube, but then I'm like, this looks like crap. So maybe after I take a couple classes, I'll complicate. A little more fancy for the YouTube, but just go over. And so if we reiterate some stuff in the next two episodes, it's because we already did a couple weeks ago because I want some space.
We have been recording for about 2 weeks now. Obviously, please understand there are some delays with both our personal schedules and obviously the current climate of things have made life difficult for all of us. However, we, are trying to be as quick as possible with releasing things. So maybe a 2-week at most, and such. But again, we are starting with Tremors. So I think that we're ready to release the first video soon.
Yeah.
If you want to familiarize yourself with Tremors so that we can all discuss it. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Indeed, yeah. And just to let you know, we will, with this format, because we're going to be going over franchises that most of the franchises we'll be going over ones that people like are going to be familiar with.
Yes.
They will be spoiler heavy. Just want to give people a heads up.
Absolutely.
But once again, they're going to be the franchises that like sooner or later. And we're going to discuss which one to do after Tremors, but sooner or later, we're definitely going to do Terminator at some point.
Oh yeah, please.
It could be the next one. I don't know. We're going to put up a poll.
Keep your eye open because we are absolutely going to put up a poll. We are about to record for the third Tremors movie at this point.
Yeah.
So around the time that we air the fourth or fifth Tremors film, we're going to pose a poll. And I know that we both probably have ideas of what franchise we want to do next or what, series we want to do next. But if there's a series that you as the audience want to see more than we want to see it, we're absolutely open to doing that. So we're going to put a poll up. We're going to open it up to you as the audience to tell us what we should talk about next.
Yeah.
And, I feel like the reason that we did Tremors was that you acknowledged before COVID happened that A Quiet Place 2 was the next film you were ready to talk about.
Yeah. Not only was the next film, but I was going to have my good friend and local actor, Joanna Lowe. She was going to come on the show as a guest to review it with me. I do believe, I can't remember if not, I'm pretty sure he's watching right now. Krish Mohan, a good friend of ours, a stand-up comedian, very funny.
Check out,
Been on the show multiple times. I can't remember. Krish, were you going to come on too? This is like months ago now. I think it's supposed to be Krish and Joanna. I know Joanna was definitely coming on. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, there was a plan, and then COVID happened, crashed Vince's plans. But Vince very much wanted to pay homage to the idea of monsters who function on sound. And what better monsters to cover than Tremors, because these are the original sci-fi horror creature to function on a sound base. So that's very much where Vince wanted to start. So, I'm happy to start with this franchise because, I've seen the first one multiple times and had no idea how many episodes of this franchise there are.
It is surprising because there was some, like, for years, we just had Tremors 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then the third one came out, which went into the short-lived TV series on Sci-Fi Channel.
Very short-lived, but
not the TV series that Kevin Bacon was going to come back for. That was going to be a whole different TV series. It's getting complicated.
We'll discuss.
The Tremors.
We'll discuss. You gotta check in.
The Tremors canon has a few branches.
Absolutely.
And then they did the fourth one, and then I think that was like the fourth one was the end of what I'll call the original era, unless the trivia, which Jess will be handling trivia here on the show.
I'm a huge trivia buff.
Yeah, so she'll be handling trivia on the individual movies we go over, and then I would say starting with the fifth one, that's when you start the new era because that's when you get like I think they were. I can't remember if they're straight to Netflix.
They're I think they are all very close to Netflix releases. I also think that you have to acknowledge a different generation of CGI with the more recent films. So this is definitely a franchise that crosses a lot of borders in discussing filmography and cinematography and the use of CGI for those of us who, I was born in 92. I think you're a little older than me.
86.
Yes. So for those of us who were born in the 80s and 90s, CGI is very much a new concept and something that very much developed over the time of our existence and something that is very interesting to discuss in films.
Yeah.
There are film franchises that started with no CGI and then ended up at the end with a lot of CGI. And I think that Tremors is a franchise that does that. At the very beginning, you have the very basics of CGI technology, the very beginning. and then you expand to an almost overuse of CGI.
Yeah, I remember even when I was young in the early 2000s, I got so sick and tired of entire CGI landscapes and like structures, like not that I want to harp on them because but the Star Wars prequels, of course, is a good example.
The perfect example of an overuse. I think that
even the Narnia movies did a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So
I think that as we started to use CGI, we overused it at first, and there are some hilarious examples of CGI in the early 2000s. Yes. But as we honed our skills with this technology, we got better at using it, and now there are some perfect examples of how to use this technology for the better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, is there anything else you want to go over, Jess? Anything else you want to tell the people about yourself?
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we both have a very well-rounded opinion of films. If you're interested in films in general, please check us out.
Yeah. And just to let you know, so part of it that we are expanding platforms in which we are on. So you can find us on the Libsyn feed. Libsyn is going to be our hosting website. And through Libsyn, you'll be able to find us on Spotify, iTunes, and Stitcher. That's and
awesome.
Shout out once again to our friend Krish Mohan, who has his own has his own podcast.
Yeah, thank you for giving us some information about what platforms.
He's been helping us a lot. So thank you, Krish. Yeah, he's going to help me on us. And once again, you can find us on YouTube. I will be uploading the videos to the POVincent YouTube channel.
And follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook. We have a Twitter and Instagram. And if you would like to support the show, and I want to make this, if you like to support the show, we thank you. If you can't right now, we totally get it. But if you can,
absolutely.
We have the POVincent Patreon, patreon.com/POVincent, as well as POVincent has a Venmo. So if you can only give a little, just give us something on the Venmo.
Anything. Yeah. Like, we understand, right now is very hard for all of us, but at the same time, this is something that we do on the side. We both have a full-time job that we are dedicated to, and this is something that we kind of, we want to continue doing this. So if you can give any support at all, even if you can't donate, if you can share, please do that. Following,
subscribing, liking, little stuff like that just helps grow and let us know that you care about the show. Mm-hmm. If that's all you can do, is click that subscribe, follow button, like whatever platform you're listening on.
Message us, let us know what franchise you want to do next, or how you feel about Tremors. Let us know. We're very open to discussion, and we're very open to audience participation, however you can participate right now, given the current climate of things.
All right. Well, yeah, guys, that's going to be it for everything. Yeah. Jess, once again, I want to thank you for joining the POVincent podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah. I am very happy to join this. Yeah. I love it.
I know. I love it too. I love talking about movies, especially with someone who's another cinephile like myself. And we've already had some fun doing the first two recordings. Like we said, we already did the first two episodes.
Yeah.
At the time of we're talking right now.
The first episode airs this weekend, right?
The first episode will air this weekend. So today is the 17th. Yeah. So so it'll come out either tomorrow on the 18th or the day after on the 19th. Yes. And after that point, episodes will be coming out every Friday. Yes. Reason for every Friday is that we are also part of the River's Edge online radio network, which is a locally owned and operated online radio network here in
check out River's Edge
in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, more specifically Millvale. And that's nothing but I want to get very specific because
as I know you don't live in Millville, but I do, and I love my hometown.
No, so Millville's a great town.
Please support the River's Edge.
Yes, I just bring up Pittsburgh because more people have heard of Pittsburgh than Millville, but we're technically in Millville, which is literally smack right next to Pittsburgh.
I had the very sad discovery that Millville is technically not part of Pittsburgh when I tried to order GoPuff.
Fucking puffers.
We are not. We are not part of Pittsburgh, you guys. But no, seriously, please support us. Support the River's Edge. Yeah. We have some great friends who are involved in this project, and you should really support them because they support us. Yeah. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, check us out once again. Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
We'll be posting about wherever you can find us.
Yeah, and
just stay updated, you guys.
Yeah, and please go to riversedgepgh.com.
Oh, yeah.
Check out the local music here in Pittsburgh. We got a lot of talented musicians. Some of them are
so
friends of
many
ours.
Talented musicians.
Yeah.
I have so many friends in bands and bands and bands.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we stream.
Support local, guys.
Oh yeah, please support local, and we stream Friday mornings at 9 a.m. on the River's Edge Online Radio Network. We will, and I will schedule the uploads to the other platforms around that.
Yeah.
But anyway, time to wrap this up. Because I think we got over everything.
I think
we did. All right. Well, anyway, thanks.
Love you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in,
Thank you for
everybody.
checking in.
Appreciate the help. Until next time.